One of the most craziest questions I get asked is how can I make passive income and how can I actually make it without almost doing nothing? Well, today I'm going to tell you guys how you can make 5,000, 10,000, yes guys, 15, even $20,000 without doing absolutely nothing only by following my Telegram. Let me put this on the screen for you guys right now and show you guys what we actually did last week. You're going to see we made a couple calls last week, 83% call rate. Let me show you guys what we did this week. So far this week, we have a 80% call rate on the TG. So if you guys are not printing, it's for multiple reasons. I'm going to answer a couple questions that I've gotten on TG. I got in also on, on here on YouTube, and also questions I got asked on Twitter. Why you guys might be losing a little bit on fees. How does the Accelerate actually work? How do you set it up? And how you could start printing this amount of money by using this app. Okay, so once again, this is not financial advice, but I just want to let you guys know that a lot of people are actually making some really good money with this. And I want to share with that information with you guys to help you be able to make this money. Now, how do you do it? Let's take it step by step. Number one, guys, of course, you're going to need to follow me on my Telegram. Link is down below. Also follow me on X. I make some really crazy alpha calls there as well. But the main thing, you want to follow me on TG. The other thing is you want to make sure you guys get the Accelerate. Link is down below as well. And you will be able to access the Accelerate, right? So now that you have both of these things set up, what do we do? So let me pull this win rate back for you guys right here so you guys can see it. We're going to take out this week's win rate because that's going to be kind of more relevant. For those of you who have been following the channel, you guys should already know that you guys already know how we do it, right? So I'm going to show you guys right now. Now, the thing here is you want to make sure you kind of take into consideration that not every single call that I make, it's going to win, because I would have to be like, God to make sure that every call wins. But we have a very, very good, interesting clip rate. So if we look at this chart right here, you're going to notice that the first thing I did, I called this coin called Aria. So this coin was actually a really, really good coin to call. Unfortunately, it got PvP'd. And there was a little bit of no, this is not the coin. That's not the coin. And that was our only loss this time around. There's one missing here that we actually called today, which was Concho, which I feel like it's going to do very well. But that was our mostly bad call, right? The first one, just because it got PvP'd. If it would have not gotten PvP'd, we would be 6-0 right now, which right now we're currently 6-1. So the next one I called is the one called Wara. Now, Wara was a really interesting one because, as you notice right here, we go from 0 to a 2x to a 4x, very close to hitting that 8x. We hit like a 6x on this one, which is not bad, right? Then we did another one called Doge ATM. This one automatically did a 2x. We got our money back. We did another one called NLP, and this one went, we went almost up to a 10x right here, which is pretty good. We called Loom, which we did a 13x. I believe we did a 13x on Loom. And I think the one that I'm currently missing from right now is the Concho one that we did a nice 2x, which I personally feel will become like a 3x to a 4x eventually by tomorrow. If my theory and my thesis is right. But if you're already 2x, you guys are already up pretty solid, or you guys are going to do the thing. So how do you exactly do this? So I teach a couple things here on the YouTube channel, and I teach it also in my TG. I also teach it on X, and that is doing the 2x strategy and the Moonbag strategy. So how does that actually work, right? So the main thing we want to do is, guys, we want to make sure we're always 2xing when we're making any sort of call, any sort of play. What does 2x mean? That means you're going to be able to double your money. And that is super important, because if you're not doubling your money, you're not doing very well, right? So, if you're doing, want to take out 50%, 60%, 80%, everybody has their own strategy. But I personally feel like the best strategy out of all of them is the 2x strategy. What this does, it allows you to make some profit, and it allows you to leave this thing called a Moonbag. So what exactly is a Moonbag? So a Moonbag is something that's going to allow you to stay in the play regardless, even though you actually already made profit. So let's take, for example, you put in 1 soul and you invest this 1 soul into a call, and this call 2x's, right? So what I'm going to do is I could either say, you know what, I want to take out 75%. So I'm going to take out 1 soul, 1.5 soul out, and I'm going to leave 50, like 0.5 in. And this is going to be a potential of it going up or a potential of it going down, right? So I'm either in the fence of either losing it completely, or I'm in the fence of pretty much multiplying that zero point 0.5. So let's take, for example, this Loom coin, which went to at 13x. Okay. So let's say this Loom coin, we bought this Loom coin really low, like right here, right? So we bought this Loom coin right here, and it boom, 2x, right? I took out my 1.5 soul out. I have 0.5. So 0.5 is going to start counting from the time you actually exited. So let's say we exited, because I call this at the market cap of almost 200. Let's say we call this at 200. I hit 400. I took out my 1.5. Now I'm sitting at 400 with 0.5. So basically 800, pretty much every time it goes up 200, I'm pretty much doubling, right? So think about that. So now what you're gonna do is you're gonna do 0.5, and you're gonna multiply that by let's say by since we already 12, right? 12. Let's say 12 or 11. So that 0.5 now theoretically became about almost like 3 to 5 soul, right? Depending on when you sell. So the advantage you have on this is the fact that you're not only winning because you're 2xing and you're taking out a little bit of profit, but you're also gaining even more money as the coin goes up. Now, this is all going to be determined on your strategy if you want to sell at 2x, and how do you actually set this up. So the first things I want to teach you guys is you always want to go to your control tab right here on the little icon. You want to go to profile, and you're going to go to this little setting wheel. This is extremely important, and you're going to turn on this show feeds. Now, a lot of you guys have been messaging me and be like, you know what, I 2x, but I'm still at a negative P&L. Okay, so I want to be extremely clear, extremely transparent. Decelerate charges an amount of money whenever you guys sell or buy a coin for their services. And top of that, you're also going to get charged the tax fee for doing that transaction. So if you're putting in very little bit amount of money, like 0.1, 0.2, sometimes you're going to be paying more for fees than you are actually winning. Okay, so do keep that in mind. So setting up the stop loss for that particular sell or that particular coin that you're buying actually puts you at a disadvantage, even if you're actually even holding it. So let's give you guys a quick example. So let's say I pull this up right here. I go to my Bolts Alpha call here. I go to my the bot right here, and let's say we got the 0.2 set up, right? So basically I'm putting in 0.2, but not only that, I'm also going to be paying for the slippage. So remember, just because we got 0.2, depending on where we're entering, the slippage is going to determine how many tokens you actually get out of the coin when you do it. So the higher the slippage, the more coins you lose. So it reduces the amount of tokens you have. So do keep that in mind. The other thing is you're going to be paying for gas fees. So depending on which one you put here, which priority, that's going to be paying into that. So if you're putting in 0.2, you're going to be reducing the amount of that 0.2 with the slippage, with the gas fee. On top of that, when you sell and you do the transaction, the accelerate's going to charge you for that transaction. Okay, so that's why I kind of recommend, if you're going to be using the accelerate, you might want to kind of like test it out a little bit, and then when you're really confident, you're going to want to start playing with a little bit more money than you usually are. Once again, not financial advice, because manual trading is still an option if you guys want to manual trade. This is only for people who just want to sit and sleep, plug and play type of thing, and just let it be, right? But do remember, you are going to be paying a transaction fee, not only with the slippage and the gas, but also on top of that, you're going to be paying a fee to accelerate for using an automated bot. Now, with that being said, how do you set this triggers, and what's like the most optimal setting? So as you see, guys, we have an 80% clip rate on the calls we make. Now I'm gonna be extremely transparent with you guys. This is like doesn't like it's not guaranteed it's gonna be 80% every single time. I would probably say like we have a very high win rate. But just keep that in mind that I'm not God, or I'm not like anything like that where I could make every single call be a 100% or like a 10x or 20x. Even though we have a really good track record, I just want to make sure you guys keep in mind sometimes we will end up losing. With that being said, how would I set this up if I'm trying to make like $10,000, $15,000? Now remember, depending on the amount you want to make, It's all going to be determined on how much soul I'm actually putting in this, right? So I'm going to keep it super simple. For I know like there's a lot of people that aren't whales out there, and you kind of just want to play with a little bit of money you have extra. So we're going to say I'm going to put in one soul, and what I'm going to do with this one soul is I am going to want to make sure by the time the month is over, I want this to be at least 10 to 20 soul. Okay, that's like my thought process. Okay, usually like on TG we call between, I'm going to say between like in a month, maybe like 20 coins that we think are gonna do very well. Probably even sometimes more. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna say, okay, I'm gonna put in one soul. And what I want to do is I want to make sure that whenever we hit you could change this to multiplier or percentile. So pretty much multiplier, a lot of people like multiplier, some people like percents. So we're gonna say whenever this coin hits 100%, basically that's a 2x. I want to sell 75% of this coin. That's gonna leave 25% in. And then I'm going to set another target and I'm going to say whenever this 3x's, okay, I'm going to sell 100. Or I could say whenever this 4x's, I want to sell 100. And basically what this is going to allow me to do, it's going to leave that Moonbag. So potentially this coin goes up from, a 2x to a 3x to a 4x to a 5x. I'm making a little bit of profit here, right? But what I'm going to do is I'm also going to set a stop loss because I want to make sure that this one soul, even though I completely, don't want to lose out on this, I'm going to say, you know what, since I'm putting one soul in, I'm going to say 80% stop loss is going to what I'm going to play with. Now, that means that my one soul could theoretically become zero point 0.2 if the call is bad call. But I'm willing to risk that. Okay, so I have that in mind. I'm willing to risk that because I know the potential is that it could do this. So what I'm gonna do here is I'm gonna say, okay, I'm gonna put 80%, and then what I'm gonna do is if it dips below 80%, it's gonna automatically sell, and that's how I would set up the triggers. Now for the priorities, what I would do here is, of course, auto slippage. Basically, what this means is whenever the coin goes up or it gets called on TG, it's gonna buy regardless if there's a 50% or a 49, I think it's 49% what they have here, but basically let's say 50% of entry from high or low. So if the coin is at 100 K market cap, if it dips below 100K market cap and it goes down to 50, it's still gonna buy. If it goes to 150, it's still gonna buy because of that 50% slippage right there. I'm gonna put my gas fees on this. This is personal, guys. Okay, this is all up to you. The higher you put this up, okay, the higher you put this up, the faster it's going to get you in. The lower you put this up down, the more likely that it might fail the transaction. But once again, I am going to leave that up to you guys. Okay, so keep that in mind. So we're going to click. Make sure you guys click on Soul. It's extremely important. I kind of messed over there. So 49%. So if you guys see here, for high slippage, I'm paying 0.04. For medium slippage, I'm paying 0.01. And for low slippage, I'm paying 0.032%, right? And then for auto, it's averaging everything out and it's 1.9. Basically, it's kind of dividing that between them. It's kind of putting you kind of like in that medium range if you see that, right? It's a little bit less than medium, but it's putting you that in. That actually, let's see, medium is 1939 and this 19. Yeah, it's going to be putting you a little bit less. So as you see right there. Now, you could theoretically come in here and put your own thing. So like, let's say auto's at 1.9, you could be like, okay, well, if auto's 0.19, I want to do 0.015. So you go and put 0.015. It's still less than auto. It's less than high, but it's still a lot higher than these two, right? So you gotta make sure you're constantly checking this. I would probably check this daily because this kind of be like how you could reduce a little bit on those fees to make a little bit more money. But these are going to be personal things that you're going to want to play with. And of course, anti-mev should always be on because you don't want to get mev botted. Okay, so mev botting is one that you want to look for. And just click save and it will automatically save that for you guys. So whenever a call goes through the channel, like for example, this concha run that I called right now, right? So it's dipping, it's dipping at 17. We called it at 18 mil. So we called it, let's see, let's change this to market cap here. We called this like around here 18 mil. So basically right now it 2x, right? So it would have sold you out right here. Okay, so it would have sold you out right here. It would have taken out your 1.5. Right now you would be playing with 0.5. With that 80%, I think we have, this is like about an 80% dip from 36, maybe a little bit less. So it probably would have sold you out of that 100%. You still would have made a little bit of soul back, but not a lot. Now, potentially, this coin, I personally feel it's going to bounce back up. Okay, so that's just me personally. That's what I feel with the coin. But for some people, you could literally just come into the program and auto sell, and it'll sell you out of the. You could sell out of the coin. If you feel like I want to get even more soul back, right? Because the pay's going to do pretty well. But if we look at this little one, you could have easily been like, okay, you know what? Ooh, this is actually blowing up. It's actually doing because you see this candle right here, this wick. You're like, damn, bro, that thing blew up. So it's gonna be all personal favorites. Now, I just want to make sure once again I make it extremely clear to you guys that the accelerate charges fees. So if you guys look like you're losing money, even though you have a positive P&L, is because of that fee that's being charged. So just keep that in mind. But overall, in general, guys, that's how you can make 5,000, 10,000, 15, even 20,000. It's all going to be dependent on how much soul you're putting in for that buy-in. Okay, so in this case scenario, I'm putting one soul, and I want to convert this one soul into 10 soul to 15 soul by the end of the month. This is literally the strategy I would personally use to make that. Just because I know with a right now we have an 80%, but let's say we have like a 60%. I know I'm gonna get some losses, but overall the winning is gonna be bet. It's gonna be higher than the losses. So eventually it's going to average me out where I'm winning more than I am actually losing. So that's how you do it, guys. And that's how you kind of do it with a plug and play method. Use the Accelerate. Link is down below. I do hear a couple things that the devs have been mentioning. They're going to be rolling out a couple more stuff that's going to make it a little bit more easier to trade. So do keep that in mind. Of course, we're going to keep you guys updated so you guys are not missing out. Once again, link is down below. One thing, guys, share it with your friends because don't be greedy. Sometimes you got to let your people know, hey guys, maybe you're at work and you have a little bit extra money, put some in here and you guys can make, more profit. Maybe take out a girl out, maybe go to the movies, just have a nice dinner. It's any extra money is always good, especially around these times. So make sure you guys keep it locked here on this channel. I'm going to bring you guys updates on coins, on cool stuff to do here. So make sure you guys keep it locked here. Thank you guys for watching. I'll catch you guys on the next one.